What's the secret behind the highest scoring World Cup goals that history can't seem to replicate?
I'm Garrett, feeling excited and ready to learn. Let's dive right in.
I'm Leah, equally excited and totally here for this. Let's get to it.
Today's topic, FIFA World Cup goal scorers and scoring records, men's edition.
Picture this, June 2026. I'm on a couch packed with friends, everyone on the edge, and Lionel Messi scores against Austria, then scores again. The room just erupts. Chills. We all knew we were watching the moment he set the all-time World Cup scoring record at 18. It wasn't loud just because of the goals. It was loud because we felt 2 decades turning into history right there.
All right, let's set the stage for this one. The FIFA World Cup is the global men's national team tournament played every 4 years. It's the highest level for international soccer, so the stakes are massive. Scoring records here carry a different kind of gravity. Quick toolkit of terms. The Golden Boot is the award for most goals in a single World Cup edition. The Golden Ball is for best overall player, so goals versus overall impact. The tournament ends with a knockout phase, meaning if you lose, you're out, and ties after extra time go to a penalty shootout. Here's a key statistical thing. FIFA doesn't count shootout penalties as World Cup goals. Only goals from regulation and extra time count toward official tallies. That keeps comparisons fair across eras.
Right. That detail about shootouts matters. It separates match play from tiebreakers, which are basically a different phase of the game. Also, just to ground us, over 2,800 goals have been scored across the 22 men's World Cup tournaments. Nearly 1,300 players have scored at least once, but only 102 have reached 5 or more. That shows how steep the climb is. Most players touch this mountain, but very few actually scale it. And when we talk regions, you'll hear UEFA for Europe and CONMEBOL for South America. Those two dominate the deep stages, and that's where scorers stack totals.
Here's a thought I've been turning over. The story really begins in 1930. Lucien Laurent, a French forward, scored the first ever World Cup goal in a 4-1 win over Mexico. It's like the first plank laid on a bridge we're still walking across. Then Argentina's Guillermo Stabile appears, a striker who scores 8 goals in the inaugural tournament and becomes the first top scorer. That was a sprint, 4 matches, 8 goals, 2 per game. Wild how that set an early bar.
And immediately you see how volatile early tournaments could be. In 1934, Oldřich Nejedlý from Czechoslovakia, a forward known for sharp movement, tops the charts with 5 in 4 matches. Compact tournament, big output. Around that same era, Brazil's Leonidas arrives. He scores across 1934 and 1938 and ends up with 8 career World Cup goals. He was an early symbol of Brazil's attacking flair. That pre-war stretch feels like pioneers sketching the blueprint.
Speaking of 1938, that's also the edition where Silvio Piola, an Italian forward, scores twice in the final, a rare multi-goal final performance. And Ernst Wilimowski of Poland scores 4 in his only World Cup match. 4 in 1 match. That's part of why he lands in that tiny, almost mythical group, averaging 2 or more goals per World Cup game played. Short career, huge spike.
Then, after World War II, Brazil's Ademir Top scores in 1950 with 9 goals. That bumps the career ceiling again and showcases Brazil's big stage swagger, even though the title slipped away. But the real big bang for single tournament scoring happens in the 1950s, when games often opened up and teams attacked in waves.
Enter Sandor Kocsis of Hungary in 1954, 11 goals in 5 matches. He's a forward from that legendary Mighty Magyars team. That was the first time someone blasted past Stabile's pace, and even that wasn't the final word.
Because in 1958, Just Fontaine of France sets the single tournament record with 13 goals in 6 matches. 13. And it still stands. When a record holds for that long, you know it's more than luck. It's sustained finishing across every round. I have to ask, why has no one touched that since?
I think it's a cocktail of factors. Modern defending is tighter, teams press as a unit, scouting is deeper, and goalkeepers are like superheroes compared to the 1950s. Tournaments have also expanded, so you face more varied and often better balanced opponents. To get to 13, you probably need a perfect storm. An elite team that goes deep, a player in absurd form, and a path with a couple of high-scoring matches. That's tough now.
Totally, and even the other giants didn't match it. Gerd Müller of West Germany scores 10 in 1970. He's this instinctive penalty box predator. Eusebio of Portugal racks up 9 in 1966, almost single-handedly hauling his country forward. Those are iconic campaigns, still short of Fontaine.
And in the modern era, Ronaldo of Brazil, an all-time great center forward, top scores with 8 in 2002 and finishes his career with 15 total World Cup goals. That 2002 run is often cited as clinical perfection. Yet again, a monster year like that in the 2000s still doesn't sniff 13.
While we're here, a detail I love, only 6 players have averaged 2 or more goals per World Cup match. Besides Fontaine and Kochis, you've got Guillermo Stabile, Oleg Salenko of Russia in 1994, Josef Hugi of Switzerland in 1954, and Ernst Wilimowski with that one explosive game. Incredible averages, but usually over small samples. It shows how short bursts can look superhuman on paper.
All right, let's move ahead to the modern scoring legends. Lionel Messi of Argentina reaches the peak by June 2026, hitting 18 total World Cup goals. That's a career record built across 5 World Cups from 2006 to 2026. Longevity plus clutch moments, including 2 in the 2022 final. It's the long game, not a single eruption. A decade and a half of precision.
And Cristiano Ronaldo of Portugal sets a different kind of endurance mark. He's the only player to have scored in 6 World Cups, 2006 all the way through 2026. That's mind-bending consistency. Different coaches, different teammates, different eras, same end product. It's a testament to adaptability and staying power.
Then there's Kylian Mbappé of France, whose finals record is bananas. 1 goal in the 2018 final, then a hat-trick in the 2022 final. That makes 4 goals in World Cup finals alone, the most ever. Finals are cagey by nature, yet he found space and time to finish at the sharpest edge.
Also, Mbappé matched Ronaldo's 8 knockout phase goals by 2022, and that stat excludes the third-place match, where dynamics are looser. Knockout goals are the rare currency because they come against the best opponents when the margin for error is 0. That's where legends cash in.
Quick aside that blew my mind. No player has ever been the top scorer twice across 22 tournaments. With so few matches and so many variables, repeating is like flipping a coin and getting heads 10 times in a row. It just doesn't happen.
And when you look at where top scorers come from, it tells a story about opportunity. Among the 102 players with 5 or more goals, 68 are from Europe and 30 from South America, and only 4 come from outside those regions. Teams that make deep runs create more minutes create more shots, and that's where records grow.
All right, let's roll on to one of the trickier chapters. The 1962 World Cup in Chile has the lowest tally to win the top scorer honor. 6 players tied on 4 goals. The term golden boot wasn't formalized the way it is now, so some sources phrase it as top scorer. But the bottom line is, 4 was enough to lead that tournament.
Here's where we go next. I think the terminology wrinkle matters more than people assume. When records are retold, different labels across eras can muddy comparisons. If we're talking about the same achievement but calling it by changing names, it affects how casual readers stack these feats side by side. Clarity helps honor the players fairly.
I hear you. I guess I lean towards seeing 1962 as a snapshot of intense parity. Defenses were tight, scoring was spread around, so the race tops out at 4. I kind of like that it shows the tournament can have a personality of its own. The label shift is real, but the competitive story is the same.
Fair. Real talk. Both can be true. The tournament was balanced, and the historical language should be kept clean so we don't confuse, say, a Golden Boot winner with a top scorer in an era before the branding matched. It's not about nitpicking, it's about preserving the chain of custody for facts.
Speaking of which, small clarification that trips people up. Jairzinho in 1970 had 7 goals in that tournament, not 9. The 9 is his career total. It's easy to mix a single edition with the full resume. And that kind of mix-up is exactly why clean notation matters.
Okay, let's move on to something lighter. It's funny, there aren't many big pop culture dramatizations of these scoring races. The human drama is baked in. Imagine a limited series following Just Fontaine's 1958 run, another episode cutting to Mbappe's 2022 final hat trick, then to Messi in 2026, chasing the career summit. You'd have strategy, personalities, and those small details that swing a golden boot race by one bounce.
I'm down for that. And you could weave in those rare feats. Jeff Hurst's 1966 final hat trick, Mbappe's in 2022, plus knockout goals under maximum pressure. That's a story engine right there.
Let's open the book on a what if. What if Just Fontaine had played in additional World Cups beyond 1958? Could that single tournament blaze have extended into the all-time career record? If he adds even modest totals in one or two more editions, the record progression changes. Maybe Gerd Müller isn't the man who resets the bar in 1974, or maybe he has a higher number to chase.
Here's another angle to look at. If Fontaine pushes the career mark up early, Ronaldo in the 2000s might be chasing a different mountain. Then Miroslav Klose, who got to 16 in 2014, could have needed more than that to pass the all-time lead. And by 2026, Messi still gets to 18, but the moment of surpassing might land at a different match or even a different tournament. It's like shifting the first domino. Everything down the line tilts.
And reputations follow the numbers. If Fontaine holds a career lead for decades, his name becomes the touchstone we all cite, the way we do with Klose or Ronaldo. Narratives are sticky. Once a player owns a crown for long enough, younger fans grow up with that as their baseline. It shapes how we compare eras, even when styles differ.
It also changes how we value single tournament fireworks versus long-haul consistency. Fontaine's 13 is already the match play Everest. If he'd also planted a flag on the career summit, he becomes the bridge between both worlds, the short burst and the long arc. That's a legacy multiplier.
Either way, the real world's mix is pretty beautiful. We get Fontaine's untouchable pace, Messi's career crescendo to 18, Mbappe's finals fire, and a century of scorers whose stories crisscross continents and eras.
Stay curious. Keep exploring the stories behind the numbers.